Imagine stepping into the shadowy gates of Auschwitz in 1943, where an impeccably dressed doctor with a chilling smile selects prisoners like pieces on a chessboard. This was Josef Mengele, the Angel of Death, a Nazi physician whose twisted fascination with genetics turned humans into lab rats. Born in 1911 in Germany, Mengele earned his medical degree and joined the SS, rising quickly due to his ruthless ambition. At Auschwitz, he conducted horrific experiments on twins, seeking to unlock Aryan supremacy. He'd inject dyes into eyes to change their color or sew siblings together in grotesque attempts to create conjoined twins. Survivors recall his calm demeanor as he whistled classical music while dooming thousands to gas chambers. But what drove this educated man to such depravity? Was it ideology? Picture the screams echoing through barbed wire fences as Mengele's experiments escalated. He infected prisoners with diseases like typhus and tuberculosis, documenting their agony without a shred of mercy. One twin would be subjected to surgery without anesthesia, while the other served as a control, often both ending in autopsy. Mengele's obsession stemmed from his PhD in anthropology, where he studied racial purity under Nazi mentors. He believed twins held the key to multiplying the master race. Eyewitness accounts describe him as charismatic, yet terrifying, charming nurses while dissecting children. After the war, he fled to South America, evading capture for decades. Interpol hunted him relentlessly, but he lived freely under aliases, even practicing medicine in Argentina. How did this fugitive slip through justice's fingers? The chase reveals a web of Nazi sympathizers and Cold War politics. Brace yourself. Envision Mengele in exile, a ghost from the Holocaust, haunting Buenos Aires in the 1950s. He remarried, fathered a son, and continued his eugenics research in secret labs. But paranoia gnawed at him. He changed identities like coats, always one step ahead of Mossad agents. Survivors like Eva Moses Kor publicly accused him, fueling global outrage. In 1979, he drowned while swimming in Brazil, or so the story goes. Exhumed remains confirmed his identity via DNA in 1985, closing a chapter, but not the wounds. Mengele's legacy? Over 3,000 victims, mostly children, perished in his research. Historians debate if he felt remorse. Letters suggest he viewed his work as scientific progress. This tale exposes the banality of evil, how a doctor's oath twisted into a death warrant. Step back to Mengele's early days in Günzburg, where a wealthy family groomed him for greatness. Excelling in medicine, he joined the Nazi Party in 1937, volunteering for the Eastern Front. Wounded in battle, he was reassigned to Auschwitz, where his true nightmare began. He performed sterilizations on Roma women, injecting chemicals that caused agonizing deaths. Twins were his prize. He'd pamper them with candy before the torment. One survivor, Alex Deckel, described Mengele's eyes as cold steel. Post-war, he escaped via rat lines, secret routes aided by the Vatican and Red Cross. In Paraguay, he befriended dictators, living lavishly. The Simon Wiesenthal Center offered millions for his capture. But tips led nowhere. This cat-and-mouse game highlights international failures in prosecuting war criminals. As we uncover more, the puzzle pieces form a portrait of unchecked power. Don't look away. The truth demands your attention. Visualize the courtroom echoes if Mengele had faced trial like his Nuremberg peers. Instead, he mocked justice from afar, writing unrepentant memoirs. His experiments yielded no valid science, just pseudo-scientific garbage fueling Nazi propaganda. Victims' families, like those of the Ovitz dwarf family, shared tales of survival against his sadism. In 1960, Israeli agents kidnapped Eichmann, but Mengele slipped away days before. He suffered strokes in hiding. Dying alone at 67, forensic experts pieced together his skull, matching dental records. Today, his story warns of medicine's dark side, how ethics erode under tyranny. Books like Children of the Flames immortalize the horrors, ensuring we remember. But questions remain. Did accomplices know his whereabouts? The layers peel back, revealing complicity at every turn. This narrative grips you, blending fact with the unimaginable. Now, reflect on Mengele's enduring shadow over bioethics. Modern debates on genetic engineering echo his atrocities, prompting strict guidelines. Museums like Auschwitz preserve artifacts from his lab, syringes, records that chill visitors to the bone. Descendants grapple with his bloodline. His son Rolf met him once, rejecting his father's ideology. Films like The Boys from Brazil fictionalize his cloning fantasies, blending truth with thriller elements. Yet, the real terror lies in the documented facts. Thousands dissected, their organs shipped for study. As we wrap this tale, remember the resilience of survivors who testified, turning pain into power. Mengele's escape from justice underscores the need for vigilance against hatred. If this story unnerved you, share it. Knowledge is our weapon against history repeating. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more dives into the abyss. Welcome to the quiet streets of Hyde, England, where a trusted family doctor hid a deadly secret. Harold Shipman, known as Dr. Death, was a seemingly caring GP who murdered over 200 patients in cold blood. Born in 1946 in Nottingham, Shipman excelled in medicine, graduating from Leeds University in 1970. He started his practice in Todmorden, but early suspicions arose when he forged prescriptions for pethidine, leading to a fine. Undeterred, he moved to Hyde in 1977, building a reputation as a devoted doctor. But behind closed doors, He injected elderly patients with lethal doses of diamorphine, watching them slip away peacefully, or so he claimed. Families trusted him implicitly, never suspecting the monster in the white coat. What turned this healer into a killer? As we unravel his web of deceit, the body count rises. Envision Shipman's surgery, a place of solace turned slaughterhouse. He'd visit patients at home, administer a pain-relieving shot, and pronounce them dead from natural causes. His victims were mostly widows over 75, vulnerable and alone. One case, Kathleen Grundy, a former mayoress, found dead in 1998 with a forged will leaving her estate to Shipman. This sparked the investigation. Detectives uncovered altered medical records and stockpiled morphine. Shipman's motive? Thrill of power, perhaps, or covering addictions. He killed at least 215, possibly 250, making him Britain's worst serial killer. Arrested in 1998, he smirked during interrogations, denying everything. The trial in 2000 revealed his meticulous planning, timing deaths to avoid suspicion. How did he evade detection for 23 years? The answers lie in systemic failures and blind. Picture the courtroom in Preston, where Shipman faced 15 murder charges in 1999. Prosecutors painted him as a calculating predator, using diamorphine overdoses to end lives swiftly. Witnesses, including grieving relatives, testified to odd behaviors, like Shipman urging cremations to destroy evidence. He was convicted on all counts, sentenced to life without parole. But the inquiry later estimated his toll at 218 confirmed kills. Shipman's early life offered clues. His mother's slow death from cancer in 1963, where he watched morphine ease her pain, may have sparked his obsession. As a teen, he was aloof, excelling in sports but lacking empathy. In prison, he remained defiant, hanging himself in 2004 at age 57. Families felt robbed of closure. This story exposes healthcare vulnerabilities, how one man's God complex shattered communities. The intrigue builds. Stay for the full exposé. Step into Shipman's mind, a labyrinth of narcissism and control. He targeted the elderly, forging death certificates with heart attacks or strokes. One victim, Winifred Meller, died mid-conversation with him. Exhumed bodies showed toxic morphine levels. The Shipman inquiry, led by Dame Janet Smith, criticized lax drug controls and coroner oversights. Recommendations reformed UK medical practices, mandating double checks on deaths. Shipman's wife Primrose stood by him, claiming innocence despite evidence. Rumors swirled of his boasting in prison about the perfect crimes. Born into a working-class family, his drive for status fueled his facade, yet no clear motive emerged. Sadism, euthanasia gone wrong, or financial gain? This enigma keeps criminologists debating. As we peel back layers, the human cost hits hard, reminding us trust can be fatal. Don't blink. The twists continue. Visualize the aftermath in Hide. where streets once patrolled by shipmen now bear memorials to his victims. The 2002 inquiry heard from hundreds, detailing suspicious house calls and sudden deaths. Shipman's computer records were tampered with, backdating entries to cover tracks. Psychologists label him a necrophile or power addict, but he never confessed. His suicide note was mundane, apologizing to family, but not victims. Books like Prescription for Murder chronicle the saga, blending facts with survivor stories. Today, his case influences medical ethics training worldwide, emphasizing vigilance. What if a colleague had spoken up earlier? Missed red flags, like high death rates in his practice, haunt the narrative. This tale of betrayal grips you, forcing reflection on authority's dark side. As facts mount, the horror solidifies. Now, ponder Shipman's legacy, a catalyst for change in end-of-life care. New laws require multiple signatures for controlled drugs, and patient advocacy groups flourished. Documentaries like the Shipman Files recreate scenes with eerie accuracy, drawing millions. Victims' families formed support networks, turning grief into reform. Shipman's son Christopher distanced himself, living anonymously. The story warns of hidden predators in plain sight. How charm masks malice. If this chilled you, imagine the untold stories of other angel killers. Thanks for joining this deep dive. Like and subscribe for more true crime explorations. Remember, knowledge protects us from history's repeats. Share your thoughts below. What's the scariest part? Until next time, stay safe out there. Transport yourself to 1890 Chicago, amid the World's Fair buzz, where a charming doctor built a house of horrors. H. Holmes, born Herman Webster Mudgett in 1861, was America's first documented serial killer, blending medicine with murder. Raised in New Hampshire, Holmes showed early cruelty, dissecting animals. He studied at Michigan Medical School, funding tuition by stealing cadavers for insurance scams. In Chicago, he constructed the Murder Castle, a 3-story hotel with trapdoors, gas chambers, and acid vats. Posing as a pharmacist, he'd lure young women with job offers, then kill them for pleasure or profit. Bodies were sold to medical schools or dissolved. His debonair smile hid a psychopath's heart. What secrets lay in those hidden rooms? As we explore, the fair's lights fade, revealing a nightmare that captivated the nation. Buckle up. This ride envision the castle's labyrinth, soundproof rooms, chutes to the basement furnace, peepholes for spying. Holmes targeted fair visitors, romancing victims before gassing or strangling them. 1. Minnie Williams inherited wealth he claimed after her death. He'd dissect corpses, articulating skeletons for sale. Arrested in 1894 for insurance fraud involving partner Benjamin Pitezel, detectives uncovered the castle's atrocities. Holmes confessed, to 27 murders. Though picture Holmes in court, calmly detailing his kills with a novelist's flair. Prosecutors presented evidence: lime pits, bone fragments, victims' belongings. He lured employees like Emmeline Sigrind into false marriages, then vanished them. Born into abuse, Holmes changed names to dodge debts, embodying the era's opportunism. The fair drew 27 million visitors, providing endless prey. After fleeing Chicago, he killed Peetzel's children, burying them in cellars. Pinkerton detectives tracked him across states, leading to his Boston arrest. Sentenced to death, Holmes penned Holmes' own story, mixing lies with confessions. Executed at 34, his last words: "I was born with the devil in me." This tale influenced horror icons like American Horror Story. Questions linger. How many truly died? The mystery enthralls. Step inside the young Holmes world, where medical curiosity twisted into terror. Expelled from school for fraud, he married multiple women bigamously, using aliases. In Chicago, he bought a pharmacy, murdering the owner for property. The castle cost $100,000, funded by scams, contractors unpaid via firings. Rooms had alarms, triggering gas jets. Victims suffocated while Holmes watched. One survivor, Ned Connor, fled after sensing danger. Post-arrest, police torched the castle in 1895 amid arson suspicions. Holmes' descendants shun his name. DNA tests debunked urban legends of his escape. Books, like The Devil in the White City, weave his story with the fair's history. This narrative exposes medicine's underbelly, how knowledge becomes a weapon. As details emerge, the human monster takes shape. Don't turn away now. Visualize the excavation. Charred remains, surgical tools, a stretching rack. Holmes sold organs anonymously, profiting from death. His childhood dissection of frogs foreshadowed horrors. Psychologists cite psychopathy. The Pitezel case cracked it. Holmes torched the body for insurance, but greed led to killing the kids. Cross-country pursuit involved trains, hotels, and false trails. In prison, he sketched killing methods, fascinating alienists. Hanged in Philadelphia, his neck didn't snap, he twitched for minutes. Today, the castle site is a post office, but ghosts whisper. Films and tours capitalize on the lore, blending fact with fiction. What drove his innovation in murder? Ego, perhaps, or evolutionary curiosity? This story grips with its macabre ingenuity, forcing us to confront evil's creativity. The end nears, but the chill remains. Reflect on Holmes's impact, inspiring safety reforms in hotels and true crime genre. Modern serial killers echo his methods, studied in criminology. Erik Larson's book immortalized him, selling millions. Family members donate to victims' causes, atoning indirectly. The fair's legacy tainted by blood, reminding us glamour hides darkness. If this tale terrified you, explore more, subscribe for weekly horrors. Share below. Could Holmes exist today? Thanks for watching. Your views fuel these deep dives. Stay curious, but cautious. Evil wears many faces. Dive into the sterile horrors of Block 10 in Auschwitz, where a gynecologist wielded science as a weapon of genocide. Karl Klauberg, born in 1898 in Germany, was a Nazi doctor obsessed with mass sterilization. A World War I veteran, he studied medicine in Kiel, becoming a professor by 1937. Joining the SS, he caught Himmler's eye with promises of sterilizing inferior races efficiently. At Auschwitz, from 1942, he experimented on Jewish and Roma women, injecting caustic substances into uteruses without anesthesia. Victims screamed as chemicals burned their organs, causing infections and death. Klauberg aimed for a method to sterilize millions, dreaming of a pure Reich. His calm precision masked sadism. What fueled this atrocity? As we probe his life, the scale. Envision the operating table. Women strapped down. Klauberg injecting formaldehyde or acids, noting reactions like a detached scientist. Over 300 victims endured this, many dying from peritonitis. He bragged of sterilizing 1,000 a day in factories. Born in Wuppertal, Klauberg built clinics pre-war, specializing in infertility. Ironic, given his later work. Himmler funded his research with prisoner subjects. Survivors like Vera Alexander described the agony, bodies swelling horrifically. Captured by Soviets in 1945, he was sentenced to 25 years in 1948 for war crimes. Released in 1955 via prisoner exchange, he resumed practice in Kiel, boasting of his achievements. Rearrested in 1955 for Auschwitz horrors, he died in custody in 1957. How did picture Klauberg's trial in Kiel, where survivors testified to injections causing lifelong pain and infertility? Prosecutors presented his letters to Himmler, detailing successful methods. He defended it as wartime duty, showing no remorse. Early life, married with children, he divorced to wed a secretary, embodying Nazi family ideals hypocritically. At Ravensbrück camp, he tested X-rays for sterilization, burning ovaries. Estimates: hundreds died directly, thousands suffered. Released to West Germany, he opened a clinic, angering survivors who protested. His 1955 arrest stemmed from public outcry. Died of a heart attack before full trial, denying closure. This narrative exposes eugenics' roots in medicine, influencing forced sterilizations worldwide. Questions abound. Was he a fanatic or opportunist? The answers unset. Step back to Kloberg's ascent. Joining Nazis in 1933, he researched hormones, gaining prestige. In 1942, Himmler summoned him to sterilize Slavs and Jews en masse. At Auschwitz, he selected healthy women, promising release post-experiment. A lie. Injections included iodine and silver nitrate, causing sepsis. One victim, Olga Lengyel, wrote memoirs detailing the screams. Post-war, Soviet Gulag hardened him. Upon release, he claimed victimhood. West German authorities initially ignored complaints until media pressure. His case highlighted denazification failures. Many ex-Nazis reintegrated. Books like Nazi Doctors analyze his psyche, linking to broader atrocities. This tale warns of science unchecked by morals. As layers unfold, the human toll resonates deeply. Stay engaged. The revelations intensify. Visualize the survivor's scars, barren wombs, chronic illnesses, psychological trauma. Kloberg's research papers were destroyed, but testimonies endure. Psychologists see him as a narcissist, viewing prisoners as subhuman. In prison, he wrote defiant letters, justifying actions. His death at 58 robbed victims of justice, but Nuremberg principles stemmed from such cases. Today, memorials at Auschwitz honor the women, with exhibits of medical tools. Films like Out of the Ashes dramatize the horrors, blending fact with emotion. What if his methods succeeded? The hypothetical chills, underscoring genocide's efficiency. This story grips with its blend of history and horror, urging reflection on consent in medicine. The end approaches, but lessons linger eternally. Now, contemplate Kloberg's shadow on reproductive rights debates. His atrocities fueled international laws against human experimentation. Organizations like the Holocaust Museum educate on medical ethics, preventing repeats. Descendants rarely speak, ashamed of the legacy. If this unnerved you, dive deeper. Subscribe for more wartime exposés. Share thoughts. How can we spot modern eugenics? Thanks for watching. Your engagement matters. Remember, history's horrors teach us humanity. Journey to the frozen plains of Manchuria in 1930s Japan, where a microbiologist orchestrated biological terror. Shiro Ishii, born in 1892, led Unit 731, a covert lab turning humans into test subjects for plagues. A brilliant army surgeon, Ishii graduated top of Kyoto Imperial University, advocating germ warfare. In 1932, he established Unit 731 in Harbin, disguising it as a water purification plant. Prisoners, Chinese, Russians, allies, were infected with anthrax, cholera, bubonic plague via bombs or food. Vivisections without anesthesia revealed disease progression. Ishii's goal: weapons for imperial conquest. His affable exterior hid a zealot's ruthlessness. Envision the labs. Rats bred for fleas carrying plague dropped over Chinese cities, killing thousands. Ishii's team froze limbs to study frostbite, amputating without painkillers. Over 3,000 died in experiments. Estimates reached 10,000, including field tests. Born in Chiba, Ishii charmed superiors, securing funds. Post-Pearl Harbor, he targeted POWs, exposing them to syphilis or gas. In 1945, as Soviets advanced, he demolished Unit 731. Fleeing with data, U.S. forces granted immunity for research, letting him consult post-war. He died in 1959 of throat cancer, unprosecuted. Survivors like Wang Xuan campaigned for recognition. How did he escape justice? Cold War deals buried truths. The story unveils international complicity, hooking you with ethical dilemmas. Picture Tokyo trials, sidelining Ishii, while subordinates hanged. MacArthur's team valued his bioweapon insights against Soviets. Ishii lived comfortably, lecturing until death. Early clues. His 1920s Europe tour studied World War I gas attacks. Unit 731's scale. 3,000 staff. Massive facilities. Experiments included pressure chambers exploding bodies. Centrifuge deaths. Victims' screams echoed. Logs dissected alive. Books like Unit 731 Testimony compile accounts. This narrative exposes bioethics voids, influencing conventions against biological weapons. Motive: patriotism twisted into megalomania. Questions persist. Did U.S. use his data? The cover-up intrigues, pulling you through history's underbelly. Step into Ishii's youth. Ambitious, he invented water filters for armies, gaining promotions. In Pingfan, Unit 731's HQ, he bred pathogens, testing on villages. One attack, plague bombs on Ningbo, 1940, causing outbreaks. POWs endured vivisections, organs removed while conscious. Destruction in 1945 killed remaining prisoners. Ishii bargained with Americans, trading secrets for freedom. Lived in Tokyo, avoiding scrutiny. Declassified docs in 1990s revealed deals. His legacy? Banned weapons treaties. This tale warns of science in war, gripping with visceral details. Stay for the full reckoning. Visualize survivors' scars, infected wounds, lost limbs, lifelong trauma. Ishii's Maruta logs included women and children. Psychologists see sociopathy in his detachment. Post-war, he denied atrocities, claiming defensive research. Museums in Harbin display tools, educating millions. Films like Men Behind the Sun graphicize horrors. What if prosecuted? Hypotheticals haunt. This story blends fact with outrage, demanding attention to forgotten victims. Reflect on Ishii's influence, sparking global biodefense. But at what cost? Apologies from Japan sparse. Victims sue for reparations. If this shocked you, subscribe for more war crimes. Share. Should immunity be revoked posthumously? Thanks. Knowledge combats denial. Stroll. The seaside elegance of Eastbourne, England, in the 1950s, where a portly doctor charmed widows into death. John Bodkin Adams, born in 1899 in Northern Ireland, was suspected of killing 163 patients for inheritances. A devout Christian, he studied medicine in Belfast, settling in Eastbourne in 1922. Known for house calls and kindness, he'd prescribe heavy sedatives like morphine and heroin, hastening deaths. Victims left him money, paintings, cars in wills. Arrested in 1956 for 13 murders, his trial captivated Britain. Was he a merciful euthanizer or greedy killer? Rumors swirled of pillow smotherings. This story of genteel poison weaves suspense, exposing trust's fragility in medicine. Envision Adams' opulent home filled with bequests from deceased patients. He'd inject massive doses, claiming pain relief, then certify natural deaths. One case, Edith Morell, who left him £80,000 but changed her will, dying soon after. Police found stockpiled drugs. Trial in 1957. Attorney General prosecuted, but Adams acquitted amid weak evidence and influential friends. Rumors of cover-up by establishment. He resumed practice, dying in 1983. Estimates: over 400 suspicious deaths. Motive? Financial, with £400,000 gained. The acquittal shocked, fueling debates on euthanasia. Hold on, the intrigue deepens. Picture the Old Bailey courtroom, packed as Adams testified calmly. Defense argued compassionate care for the dying, but exhumed bodies showed opiate overloads. Born Methodist, Adams was homosexual in repressive times, perhaps motivating secrecy. Patients adored him, calling him Dear Doctor. Post-trial, he lost license briefly, but won libel suits. Books like Easeful Death suggest guilt. This tale questions justice's blind spots, enthralling with ambiguity. Step into Adams' early career. Struggling, he built a wealthy clientele. Methods: gradual overdoses mimicking decline. Victim Gertrude Hollett's suicide note implicated him. Investigation revealed altered records. Acquittal due to procedural errors. Lived lavishly post-trial. Legacy: tightened drug laws. Story grips with moral gray areas. Visualize family's grief. Disinherited relatives suspected foul play. Psychologists cite narcissism. In retirement, Adams gardened peacefully. Documentaries probe unsolved cases. What if convicted? Hypotheticals fascinate. Narrative blends fact with suspicion. Ponder Adams' impact, sparking palliative care reforms. If intriguing, subscribe. Share views on euthanasia. Thanks. Stay vigilant. Step into the eerie asylums of 1940s America, where a charismatic neurologist promised to cure madness with a chilling tool, an ice pick. Walter Freeman, born in 1895 in Philadelphia, pioneered the transorbital lobotomy, a procedure that severed brain connections to tame mental illness. A Yale and Penn graduate, Freeman was driven by ambition, frustrated by slow psychiatric methods. His solution? Hammering picks through patients' eye sockets to scramble frontal lobes. Marketed as revolutionary, it left thousands docile or destroyed. Was Freeman a visionary or a reckless butcher? This tale of medical horror will grip you, blending hope with devastation. Stay tuned as we uncover the mind behind the madness. Picture a sterile operating room, patients strapped down, no anesthesia, just electroshock to knock them out. Freeman's ice pick slid above the eyeball, breaking through bone with a tap, then swirled to cut brain tissue. Over 3,500 underwent this, with 15% dying and many left vegetative. One victim, Rosemary Kennedy, JFK's sister, rendered childlike at 23. Freeman toured in his lobotomobile, performing in theaters for crowds, charging $25 per procedure. His charisma masked the chaos. Patients lost emotions, memories, or lives. By the 1960s, new drugs ended his reign. What drove his obsession? Fame or genuine belief? The story deepens, revealing psychiatry's dark age. Hold on, the horrors escalate. Envision Freeman on stage, ice pick in hand, as spectators gaped at his miracle cure. Early successes with depressives fueled his ego, but overuse on schizophrenics proved disastrous. Born to a prominent surgical family, he sought to outshine his grandfather. His son's death in 1954 haunted him, yet he persisted. Later banned from hospitals, he died in 1972 at 76, unapologetic. Survivors, like Howard Dully, author of My Lobotomy, shared tales of lost identities. Estimates suggest 40,000 lobotomies in the US, many by Freeman. Why did medicine embrace this? The answer lies in desperation and unchecked power. This narrative pulls you into ethical shadows. Don't look away now. Step back to Freeman's early days. A driven student, he partnered with surgeon James Watts before going solo. His method evolved from Egas Moniz's leucotomy, but Freeman simplified it for speed, ignoring risks. Patients, housewives, veterans were lobotomized for anxiety or defiance, emerging as shells. One case, Anne Krubsack, a mother, lost her personality entirely. Freeman kept meticulous notes, boasting of cures. Post-1950s, critics like the AMA condemned him, but he dismissed them. His legacy? A cautionary tale of science without conscience. Books and films like The Lobotomist immortalize the horror. As we dig deeper, the human cost mounts, demanding your attention. The truth awaits. Visualize the aftermath. Lobotomized patients wandering asylums, incontinent, emotionless, or suicidal. Freeman's records showed 30% improved, but families mourned lost loved ones. Psychologists label him a narcissist, blind to harm. In retirement, he visited patients, claiming success despite their vacant stares. His death from cancer ended a controversial era, but lobotomy's scars linger. Documentaries and survivor memoirs fuel debates on medical ethics. What if oversight had stopped him? The question haunts. This story grips with its blend of innovation and tragedy, urging reflection on trust in doctors. As the final pieces fall, the nightmare solidifies. Stay for the reckoning. Now, reflect on Freeman's legacy. His work spurred informed consent laws and anti-psychiatry movements. Museums display his tools, chilling reminders of a bygone era. Descendants grapple with his name. Some donate to mental health causes. Films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest echo his impact. If this tale unnerved you, share it. Subscribe for more true crime dives. What's scarier, his intent or the system that enabled him? Thanks for watching. Your views drive these stories. Knowledge fights history's repeat. Stay curious, but cautious. Medicine's heroes can become its villains. Venture into the misty woods of Olalla, Washington in the 1910s, where a self-proclaimed doctor starved her patients under the guise of healing. Linda Hazard, born in 1867 in Minnesota, branded herself a fasting specialist, promising cures through extreme deprivation. With no medical license, she ran Wilderness Heights Sanatorium, luring wealthy clients with her book, Fasting for the Cure of Disease. Patients endured weeks without food, wasting away while she pocketed their fortunes. Convicted in 1912 for killing Claire Williamson, she's linked to 40 deaths. Was she a misguided healer or a cunning predator? This tale of deadly diets will hook you. Dive in as we unravel her sinister scheme. Picture the 1912 courtroom, packed as prosecutors displayed Claire's skeletal photos. Hazard, tall and commanding, claimed fasting purified bodies. Evidence showed theft. Patients' assets funneled to her. Born to a farming family, she studied osteopathy but shunned credentials. Her husband, Sam, a con man, aided her scams. Released early, she charmed governors for pardon. Books like Starvation Heights detail survivor accounts, like Margaret Conway's, who escaped. Estimates: 40 to 50 deaths. Why did patients trust her? Desperation for health in a quackery-prone era. This narrative grips with its blend of charisma and cruelty. The questions pile up. Don't turn away now. Step into Hazard's world. A charismatic orator, she lectured on fasting's miracles, citing her own cures. Methods included 50-day fasts, causing organ failure. Victims like Daisy Hagland died, her son raised by Hazard. Post-prison, she planned a health school. Undeterred, fire destroyed her sanatorium. Locals suspected arson. Her death, self-inflicted via fasting, was ironic. Psychologists see her as a cult leader, manipulating trust. Her case tightened medical regulations in Washington. This story exposes alternative medicine's dangers, blending fact with horror. As we uncover more, the human toll hits hard. Stay engaged. The revelations intensify. Visualize the victim's agony, bones protruding, minds delirious from hunger. Hazard's diaries revealed meticulous records of patients' decline, yet she called it progress. Survivors like Isabel van Duzen spoke of torture disguised as therapy. In court, Hazard's defiance shocked. She blamed patients for failing her regimen. Her legacy? A warning against unregulated healers. Documentaries and books like The Starvation Cure recreate her eerie world. What if authorities acted sooner? The hypothetical chills. This tale captivates with its mix of history and betrayal, urging scrutiny of health fads. The end nears, but the lessons linger. Keep watching. Reflect on Hazard's impact. Her crimes spurred licensing laws and skepticism of miracle cures. Olala's sanatorium site is a ghostly reminder, visited by true crime fans. Her descendants avoid her legacy. If this story shook you, subscribe for more dark histories. Share below. Could such a scam happen today? Thanks for joining. Your support fuels these dives. Knowledge guards against deception. Stay wary. Charlatans still prey on hope. Follow the chilling trail of a doctor who turned hospitals into killing grounds. Michael Swango, born in 1954 in Tacoma, Washington, earned the moniker 00 Swango for his license to kill. A Southern Illinois medical student, he was expelled for falsifying records, but charmed his way into residencies. Using arsenic, potassium, and paralytics, he poisoned patients in the US and Zimbabwe, linked to 60 deaths. His boyish grin hid a fascination with death, keeping scrapbooks of disasters. Was he driven by thrill or pathology? This global manhunt story will grip you, blending medical mystery with serial killer horror. Buckle up as we trace his deadly path. Envision a quiet Ohio hospital, 1980s, where nurses noticed patients crashing after Swango shifts. He'd inject drugs, watching victims suffocate or seize. Fired from multiple jobs, he fled to Zimbabwe in 1994, poisoning missionary hospital patients. Linked to 35 US deaths and dozens abroad, he used aliases to evade bans. Arrested in 1997 at Chicago's airport, he pleaded guilty in 2000 to 3 murders, getting life without parole. Motive? Power over life, psychologists say. His Marine background and obsession with serial killers hinted at darkness. How did he slip through? Systemic oversights let him roam. This tale deepens with every hospital he tainted. Stay hooked. The body count rises. Picture Swango's trial, where prosecutors displayed vials of poison and patient charts. Nurses testified to his eerie calm during codes. Born to a military family, he excelled academically, but poisoned classmates in med school. Suspended, he forged credentials, working in Illinois, Ohio, New York. In Zimbabwe, entire wards died mysteriously. He fled to Saudi Arabia, caught en route to France. Sentenced at 46, he's in Supermax. Books like Blind Eye detail his charm and chaos. Estimates: 60 to 100 victims. Why did hospitals rehire him? Lacks checks and charisma. This story exposes healthcare's blind spots, pulling you into a predator's mind. Don't blink. The twists keep coming. Step back to Swango's youth. A gifted student, he kept clippings of accidents, hinting at necrophilia. Expelled in 1983, he worked as a paramedic, poisoning colleagues' coffee. In Zimbabwe, he targeted vulnerable patients, forging missionary credentials. Post-arrest, diaries revealed joy in killing. FBI tracked him across continents. Interpol issued warrants. His charm disarmed suspicions, delaying justice. Conviction covered only 3 murders due to evidence gaps. His case tightened hospital hiring laws. This narrative blends ambition with evil, gripping with its global scope. As we unravel more, the human cost stuns. Stay with us. The truth is relentless. Visualize the victims. Veterans in New York, missionaries in Africa, gasping as Swango watched. Survivors spoke of his cold eyes during injections. In prison, he remains unrepentant, studying poisons. Psychologists call him a psychopath, thriving on control. His case inspired The Good Nurse parallels. Exhumed bodies confirmed toxins. Families sued hospitals. What if one whistleblower acted sooner? The question haunts. This story captivates with its mix of medicine and murder, urging scrutiny of trust in doctors. Documentaries recreate his spree with chilling accuracy. As the end looms, the horror solidifies. Keep watching. Reflect on Swango's legacy. Stricter background checks in medicine, but gaps remain. His prison writings hint at more victims unsolved. If this chilled you, subscribe for more true crime. Share. How can we spot such predators? Thanks for watching. Your views drive these stories. Knowledge protects against hidden killers. Stay vigilant. Evil hides in plain sight. Enter the operating rooms of Bundaberg, Australia, 2003, where a surgeon's scalpel left a trail of death. Jayant Patel, born in 1950 in India, dubbed Dr. Death, botched procedures at Bundaberg Base Hospital, linked to 87 deaths. Trained in the US, he was banned in Oregon for negligence, but hired in Australia. His reckless surgeries, unnecessary operations, sloppy techniques caused infections and hemorrhages. Was it incompetence or arrogance? This scandal of medical malpractice will hook you, exposing a system that failed patients. Join us as we uncover the chaos of a doctor unchecked, a story that shocked a nation. Picture the OR. Patel rushing through surgeries, ignoring protocols, leaving patients bleeding out. From 2003, 2005, he performed complex procedures despite bans in Oregon and New York for errors like amputating healthy limbs. Nurse Tony Hoffman blew the whistle, documenting 87 suspicious deaths. Patients like Ian Vowles died from botched esophageal surgery. Patel fled to the US in 2005, extradited in 2008, convicted in 2010 for 3 murders and grievous harm, sentenced to 7 years, released in 2012 on appeal. Motive? Ego and careerism. How did he slip through? Lacks oversight. This tale deepens with systemic failures. Stay tuned. The outrage builds. Envision the 2010 trial in Brisbane, packed with grieving families. Prosecutors showed botched records and infected wombs. Patel, confident, claimed cultural bias. Born in Gujarat, he excelled in Rochester, but negligence surfaced early. Oregon banned him in 2000. He lied to Australian recruiters. Whistleblower Hoffman faced threats but persisted. Inquiry estimated 1,200 harmed. Released early, Patel lives in the US, barred from medicine. Books like The Patient from Hell detail the saga. Why was he hired? Desperate staffing needs. This story grips with its mix of incompetence and betrayal. Questions linger. Don't turn away. Step into Patel's early career. Ambitious, he ignored warnings, botching cancer surgeries. In Bundaberg, he operated beyond his skill, causing sepsis. One case, Desmond Bramage died from a perforated bowel. Australian checks missed US bans due to poor communication. Extradition took years. FBI arrested him in Portland. Conviction sparked healthcare reforms. Psychologists see hubris, not malice. His case tightened credential checks globally. This narrative blends ambition with tragedy, exposing trust's fragility. As we dig deeper, the human toll mounts. Keep watching. The truth stings. Visualize families' pain. Widows, orphans, suing for justice. Victim Jerry Kemps bled out post-surgery. His daughter testified. Patel's defense blamed hospital conditions, but evidence overwhelmed. In prison, he studied medicine, unrepentant. Post-release, he vanished from public. Documentaries like 60 Minutes Australia recreate the horror. What if nurses spoke sooner? The hypothetical chills. This story captivates with its blend of fact and failure, urging scrutiny of medical systems. The end nears, but lessons resonate. Stay engaged. Reflect on Patel's impact. Australia revamped hospital oversight, mandating global checks. Bundaberg's memorials honor victims. If this shocked you, subscribe for more scandals. Share. Could this happen again? Thanks. Your support fuels these stories. Knowledge prevents repeats. Stay cautious. Trust in medicine can be deadly.